Carlos Ramsey's with the enhancing mind. Beware of the things you watch. Beware of the things you listen to, and beware of the things you read. It can influence your state. We all want to think we're stronger than that or more in control than that, and we might be for a little while. But the problem with media sources is that the information output is constant. No matter how self-aware you are, no matter how disciplined you are, surround yourself with negative or positive forms of information, and your mental state will eventually reflect the average sum of what you expose yourself to. Let's do a little test right now. Put yourself in a bucket. Do you consider yourself a negative or a positive person? Now, I know there's a lot of gray area here, but just for this exercise, toss yourself in the state you think is most dominant in you right now and be honest. Now, think of everything you read. Think of the kind of music you listen to. Think of the kinds of things you watch regularly. I bet you that there is a correlation between your dominant state of being and the media that you regularly consume. Now, this becomes a chicken or the egg situation where we can't pinpoint which came first. For example, let's say a negative minded person. Did the negative media come first and influence a negative mind, or did the negative mind come first that then began to be attracted to negative media? It's not really clear which comes first, but what is true is the correlation between our dominant emotional state and the media that we are attracted to. How does media become a reflection of our emotional state? Media is the term we use to describe the sharing of information. And our minds, our egos, or whatever you want to call it, will look for specific forms of information to reinforce our current worldview. At the end of the day, our mind wants to be right. It wants to justify our beliefs, right? So, what it will do is it will utilize the power of simulation and dissimulation, which I discuss in the book, chapter 11, to be exact, which is a cognitive process that our mind forms to mold and mend pieces of information and make it fit in whatever puzzle we're looking at. This is all to say that we are attracted to the kind of media that reinforces our current worldview, whatever that may be. Whether that worldview was shaped organically through the events of our lives or inorganically through being surrounded by a specific form of media becomes irrelevant after a little while. But there is no denying the correlation between our emotional state and our media choices. Okay, so what does all this have to do with self mastery? What does it have to do with personal enhancement? If it's true that media influences emotional states and worldviews, I share this with you so that you can begin to use media as an advantage. Use positive or empowering media sources as an added tool to train ourselves or to train yourself to become positive and empowered. I will tell you this, when I propose this approach to people, I tend to get backlash. There are some people that tend to say, or people out there that say that to do this, to focus on the positive, would be lying to yourself or being ignorant of the state of the world. I say become aware of these defense mechanisms and push forward. The truth is, the world is full of all kinds of information. Having seen the world in one particular way for most of your life can make it hard to believe that anything outside of your worldview is just as true and valid as your current view. It can make it hard to believe that other life views are just as valid as yours. And as I mentioned, I have met people that will not let go of their negative worldview because they say that to do so would be ignoring the plight and pain of the world. They say that only the ignorant are optimists. What they don't see, what many of us don't see, is that we are all cherry picking information. If in a field of berries, all you pick are the blueberries, your basket's going to be full of blueberries. If you only pick strawberries, your basket's going to be full of strawberries. What the nihilist, existentialist, and layman all have in common is that their baskets are full of what they want them filled with. The one factor that reinforces these worldviews or reinforces the worldviews that they create is lies in the fact that we stop looking at the field full of berries and begin to focus only on our own basket, and we begin to believe that our basket full of what we chose to believe is the only basket with the most accurate representation of the berry field. It isn't. No one basket could ever accurately encapsulate the infinite variety that the field has to offer. You can choose to be a negative person and surround yourself with information that will reinforce and justify your beliefs, but you can also choose to be a positive person and surround yourself with information that will reinforce and justify that worldview. So, what does it take to go from negative to positive? Allow yourself to. That's it. Allow yourself to indulge in positive and optimistic sources of information. The information is out there. It obviously isn't as easily obtainable as negative information. I mean, that's free, that's everywhere, right? You will have to dig a little for the good stuff, but it is there. Go look for it. You know what? Try this. Awareness is step number one of self mastery. We all know that by now. So I'm going to ask you, become hyper aware of your surroundings. I talk about the 1,000-pound vest, right? We're so used to the weight, we don't even feel it anymore. Likewise with negative thoughts, with negative music, negative forms of information, we're so used to them that we don't see them as negative anymore. But awareness will give you the bird's eye view to locate your negative sources of media to then replace them with positive sources of media. Try it for the next, 2 weeks. That's all I'm asking. Build a new Spotify playlist, stay away from the news, stay away from negative social media apps. I mean, I don't know what it is you got to do, but find other sources of media that are more inviting and more positive. And after those 2 weeks, assess your emotions, your mindset, assess your worldview. How has it changed? Tell me about it. That's all I've got for you. Carlos Ramsey's with the Enhancing Mind. Talk to you soon.